The most dangerous lie in the NFL right now isn't about stats, contracts, or even championships. It's the lie that everything with the Dallas Cowboys is fine, that this team is just 1 or 2 plays away, that Dak Prescott is somehow the problem instead of the victim. Because when you really sit down and absorb what just happened in that Christmas Day game, when you actually listen to what Stephen A. and Shannon were circling around without even saying it directly, you realize this wasn't just another win. This wasn't just another stat-padding night. This was a loud, uncomfortable exposure of a franchise that has wasted prime years of a quarterback who did everything humanly possible to carry them. Dak Prescott got hit 6 times, sacked 6 times, stood in the pocket like a punching bag, delivered over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and somehow the conversation still floats around like he's the problem, like he's the reason this team lives on the edge every single week. That's the insanity of it. The Cowboys won 30-23, but it felt like a loss disguised as a win, because when you zoom out, when you remove the final score, what you see is a quarterback surviving chaos while the organization around him leaks from every possible angle. This wasn't dominance, this wasn't control, this was survival. And the most damning part is that this has been the story of Dak's career. Year after year, season after season, different coaches, different coordinators, different defensive schemes, same result. Dak standing tall while everything else crumbles around him. And the scary part, people are still pretending this is normal. They're still pretending this is fine. They're still pretending that this is what a contender looks like. It isn't. It's what dysfunction looks like when it's dressed up in star logos and primetime lighting. And the longer this goes on, the clearer it becomes that the Cowboys didn't just fail Dak Prescott once. They wasted his prime in real time, and now they're running out of excuses. Now let's get into exactly why this game against Washington blew the lid off everything. Because on paper, this should have been simple. The Commanders ran just 18 plays. 18. That number alone should end the conversation. Any competent defense buries a team that barely touches the ball. But Dallas didn't. They allowed chunk runs, they missed tackles. They looked slow, undisciplined, and reactive instead of aggressive. Dak throws for over 300, accounts for multiple touchdowns, protects the football, and yet the game still comes down to moments that shouldn't exist. That's not on the quarterback. That's structural failure. That's roster construction failure. That's a defensive identity crisis. And when Stephen A. and Shannon start breaking down the numbers, the tone shifts from frustration to disbelief. The Cowboys had a 4,000-yard passer, multiple 1,000-yard weapons, a productive run game, and still found themselves barely above water. That's not bad luck. That's organizational malpractice. Before we go any further, if you're watching this right now and you want real breakdowns, real conversations, and real accountability in sports, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button, because we don't sugarcoat anything here, and this story deserves to be told the right way. Now let's talk about the defense, because this is where everything unravels. The conversation about linebackers, about sideline-to-sideline speed, about guys who simply don't fit the system, that's not noise. That's the core issue. When Stephen A. points out that certain players were let go for a reason, that younger, faster guys passed them on the depth chart, he's telling you something critical. This defense is patched together with mismatched parts. They don't complement each other. They don't cover for each other's weaknesses. And when one level breaks down, the whole structure collapses. That's why you see missed tackles. That's why you see blown assignments. That's why a team with all this talent looks confused at the worst possible moments. And then there's the secondary, the most polarizing part of this entire conversation. Trayvon Diggs is the perfect symbol of the Cowboys' identity crisis. A playmaker? Yes. A gambler? Absolutely. One of the few guys in the league who plays to make a play instead of just not get beat. But that comes with a price. When you gamble and lose, it's 6 points the other way. And when you don't have a defensive front that can consistently bail you out, those risks get magnified. The problem isn't that Diggs takes chances. The problem is that the Cowboys built a defense that requires perfection behind him. That's unsustainable. Then you get into the Pro Bowl debate, and this is where the conversation turns uncomfortable. Because now we're talking about reputation versus reality. Players getting recognition not for what they did this year, but for what they did years ago. And when you really listen, The frustration isn't about individual accolades. It's about accountability. It's about whether performance actually matters anymore or whether names carry more weight than tape. When you hear the breakdowns about sacks, pressures, run stops, and consistency, it becomes painfully obvious that some of these selections are living off past glory. And that same mindset infects the Cowboys as an organization. They live off the brand. They live off the logo. They live off history. Meanwhile, the present keeps exposing them. And then there's Dak again, standing in the middle of all of it. 6 sacks, hit after hit, still delivering, still standing tall, still blamed when things go wrong. This is where the conversation turns uncomfortable for Cowboys fans, because at some point, you have to ask yourself what more you want from this guy. He's not perfect, but he's not the problem. He's playing behind inconsistent protection, with a defense that can't consistently get stops, and a system that asks him to be Superman every week. That's not sustainable football. That's survival mode. What makes this even more painful is that the solution isn't complicated. Even the analysts spell it out. You don't need 5 stars. You need one difference maker. One real presence on the defensive line. One guy who changes protections, who commands double teams, who frees everyone else. One tone setter on the back end who doesn't just survive, but controls space. That's it. But instead of doing that, the Cowboys keep rearranging the furniture and acting surprised when the house still leaks. And that's why this game matters more than the score, because it exposed the truth. The Cowboys aren't unlucky. They're incomplete. They aren't cursed. They're mismanaged. They aren't one play away. They're one philosophy away. And until that changes, Dak Prescott will keep putting up numbers while carrying blame that doesn't belong to him. He'll keep getting hit. He'll keep getting questioned. And the Cowboys will keep circling the same drain, convincing themselves that next year will be different. This wasn't just a win over Washington. This was a warning that the margin for error is gone, a warning that talent without structure is meaningless, a warning that you can't keep asking your quarterback to save you while refusing to fix what's broken around him. And if this organization keeps ignoring that message, then the story of Dak Prescott won't be about what he failed to do. It'll be about what the Cowboys failed to give him.